They told you the third eye was about seeing energy, about visions, colors, psychic power. But that's only the surface. The real meaning was never about what you see, it's about how you perceive. The ancients called it the lamp of the body, because when this inner eye is clear, the whole being becomes luminous. But when it's clouded, life itself dims. You don't just lose sight, you lose connection to spirit. When your perception is clean, reality stops reflecting confusion and begins to mirror clarity. Your relationships shift, your emotions quiet, even your thoughts begin to move with precision, because perception is creation, and the one who sees truth as it is begins to shape the world as it could be. The ancients knew this, that the purification of sight was not about vision, but about virtue. When the eye within you no longer seeks to judge, but to understand, light enters freely. And in that moment, you stop trying to find meaning and start becoming it. The misunderstood eye. Most people think the third eye is a mystical muscle to be forced open. They chase visions and sensations, but never question who is doing the seeing. Your physical eyes show you form, but this eye, this inner awareness, reveals meaning. It doesn't project outward, it reflects inward. It's not about clairvoyance, it's about clarity. The true opening of the third eye isn't the gaining of sight, it's the cleansing of distortion, when perception becomes still and the soul begins to see itself. And in that stillness, something extraordinary happens. You realize the vision you were chasing was never somewhere else. It was hidden behind the noise within you. The more you stop trying to see, the clearer things become. The more you release, the more is revealed. The inner eye doesn't open through effort. It opens through surrender, through humility, through silence so profound that truth no longer needs to speak. It simply is. Because awakening is not an act of seeing more. It's an act of finally seeing without obstruction. When the seer disappears, only the light remains. The lamp of the soul. Christ said, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body shall be full of light." This was never just a metaphor for vision. It was a teaching on awareness. A single eye means unified perception, a consciousness no longer divided between what is seen and what is feared. When your awareness becomes pure, light flows through you, undistorted. Your mind becomes the clear glass of a lantern, and divine intelligence shines through it effortlessly. This is why the enlightened radiate. Their inner lamp burns without obstruction. Their third eye isn't a tool, it's a state of purity. And when that purity takes hold, life itself becomes illuminated from within. You stop searching for signs of divinity, because divinity begins to move through your every breath. Your actions gain precision, your words begin to heal, even your silence feels alive with presence. This is what Christ meant by light within the body, not a symbol, but a transmission. A living current that flows unobstructed when the self no longer interrupts the source. And when the lamp burns clear, the world no longer blinds you with illusion. It mirrors back the kingdom that was always here. Energy in the field. When the third eye is clear, it strengthens your electromagnetic field. Your aura stabilizes. You become less reactive to the noise of others. But when it's clouded by stress, distraction, and indulgence, your field weakens. You absorb negativity, emotions, and even illnesses that aren't yours. Your soul's rhythm becomes distorted. The esoteric masters understood this long before modern science. They taught that your inner light creates your outer order. A radiant field doesn't come from protection spells or affirmations. It comes from purity of perception, from seeing truth without distortion. Because when perception is pure, frequency follows. Your energy stops scattering. It harmonizes. Your presence begins to quiet entire rooms without a single word spoken. This is why true power is calm. It doesn't demand attention. It draws it. It doesn't chase alignment. It radiates it. The more you cleanse the eye within, the more the field around you reorganizes. You start to attract what carries the same vibration and gently repel what does not. What once felt like chaos begins to reveal its hidden order, not because the world changed, but because you did. The practice of seeing. You cleanse the third eye not by force, but by stillness. Every time you observe instead of react, the veil thins. Every time you choose truth over fear, the lens clears. Meditation, prayer, even silence. These are not rituals of doing. They are rituals of being. The more you return to still awareness, the more your own light returns to you. And in time, what once was a flicker becomes a steady flame. Because stillness is the great purifier. It polishes the mirror of the soul until nothing remains but reflection itself. In that quiet, the illusions that once ruled you begin to dissolve. Fear, pride, craving, all lose their weight. And what remains is awareness in its original form. Clear, steady, unshaken. You start to realize that enlightenment was never somewhere to reach. It was the silence between every thought, waiting to be noticed. And the more you rest there, the more the divine stops feeling distant and starts feeling familiar. The return to light. The eye was never meant to reach outward for truth. It was meant to draw truth toward you by the clarity of your being. When you begin to see from this place, life starts to bend toward you. Opportunities, synchronicities, healing. They arise not because you chase them, but because you resonate with them. The enlightened don't force outcomes, they illuminate them. And so the third eye, when clear, becomes the bridge between the seen and unseen, the mind and the divine. When your gaze turns inward and holds, the hidden order reveals itself. That is the moment awareness stops seeking and begins creating, for creation has always awaited its witness. Because the universe was never silent, it was only waiting for someone still enough to listen. In that stillness, creation recognizes its observer. The dance between spirit and matter becomes one movement, a breath shared between you and the divine. And as your perception clears, you stop standing apart from the light you once sought. You become it. The awakened eye beholds God in all things, not because divinity changed, but because the observer finally did.